Greetings. Drop whatever you're holding. Turn off the television, close every browser tab, and silence your device before locking the door. What we're discussing today goes far beyond sports. This is an examination of a legacy that collapsed before it ever truly began, a financial unraveling in women's basketball that is unfolding in real time. The scale of this crisis is so severe it threatens the stability of the Indiana Fever even before the season tips off. If you're hearing this, you are witnessing the epicenter of a growing storm. Over the past 2 days, the team's ticket lines have been flooded non-stop, but not with excitement or corporate interest. Instead, they echo with frustration. Reports from inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse reveal a mass withdrawal underway, as thousands of longtime supporters demand refunds, cancel reservations, and walk away. The once-promoted waiting list has completely evaporated, and the much-hyped Caitlin Clark financial surge has collided with a wall of fan backlash. Team's performance has only intensified the disappointment. There is a growing feeling that loyalty has not been returned in kind, though there remains a need to push past negativity and focus on what can still be controlled. The center of this chaos stands head coach Stephanie White, watching her vision unravel. Reports from Indianapolis describe her state as deeply shaken, with insiders suggesting she is overwhelmed and under immense pressure. Said she has been confronting management in frustration, realizing the magnitude of the risk she took by leaving a secure role in Connecticut for this opportunity. She returned believing in a revival story, promised a powerhouse environment reminiscent of a dynasty, complete with packed arenas and elite talent. Instead, she now faces the possibility of empty stands and a disengaged fan base, steering a team that feels abandoned by its own city. To understand her anxiety, you have to see this move for what it was, a gamble for legacy, not just a job change. She came to build something historic, but recent internal tensions suggest a breaking point. Reports claim that during a heated meeting, she presented evidence of collapsing ticket commitments and warned ownership about the consequences of a failed debut. The psychological strain of that moment is immense. Coach relies on energy, and a young roster depends on momentum. Without a supportive crowd, motivating players like Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell becomes a daunting challenge. Home court advantage was meant to be their greatest strength, but without it, the team risks becoming vulnerable. The bigger question remains, why has everything unraveled now? The answer appears tied to recent developments involving Caitlin Clark and a major media agreement with NBC Universal. For years, fans felt restricted, forced into a system that demanded high costs and tolerance for ongoing frustrations. Now that tension has reached a boiling point, and the backlash is impossible to ignore. And now the message to fans has shifted: accept the narrative or miss out entirely. For years, access to Caitlin Clark felt tightly controlled, as if the league held all the leverage. But when Clark signed her major deal with NBC Universal, everything changed. That agreement didn't just mark a career milestone, it handed viewers a new level of freedom. Suddenly, fans no longer needed to rely solely on the league to watch her play. In basketball-savvy regions like Indiana, it didn't take long for people to connect the dots. They realized they could follow her performances from home every week, without worrying about team struggles, scheduling chaos, or league drama. The urgency to attend games faded, and with it came a surge of ticket cancellations. Many began questioning why they should spend thousands supporting a system they felt disconnected from when her story was now accessible on a broader platform at no extra cost. This shift in consumer behavior has had immediate financial consequences for the Indiana Fever. What might have seemed like a temporary dip is now being described as a serious economic threat. Analysts warn that refund demands alone could create losses in the tens of millions, and that's before accounting for declining merchandise sales, reduced concessions, and empty parking facilities. The ripple effect extends even further into advertising and sponsorships. As attendance drops, so does visibility, and major partners grow uneasy. Reports suggest that key regional sponsors are already expressing concern about the negative atmosphere surrounding the franchise. Brands avoid controversy, and if public sentiment continues to sour, those partnerships could disappear quickly. For the organization, this isn't just about optics, it's about survival. For head coach Stephanie White, the situation is deeply personal and professionally alarming. Team resources, staff salaries, and operational quality all depend on steady revenue. Finances deteriorate, the entire structure begins to weaken, travel standards decline, marketing efforts shrink, and the roster becomes harder to maintain. On the court, the impact could be just as damaging. A once energetic arena turning silent creates a psychological burden for players. Competing in a near-empty Gainbridge Fieldhouse strips away momentum, amplifies pressure, and exposes every mistake. For a young squad, that environment can erode confidence quickly. Beyond performance, there's a growing concern about the team's future appeal. A franchise facing public backlash becomes a difficult destination for top talent. Free agents are unlikely to commit to a situation where fan support is uncertain and organizational stability is in question. At the same time, frustration builds internally. There is a sense that expectations were misrepresented, that the opportunity promised was far different from the current reality. Instead of leading a rising powerhouse, the coaching staff now finds itself navigating conflict, criticism, and instability. The focus has shifted away from pure competition and toward managing a broader crisis, one that blends sports, business, and public perception into a single complicated challenge. She now finds herself becoming the public face of an organization carrying the weight of growing frustration. When fans turn against the system, it inevitably reflects on the team itself, and that reality is difficult to ignore. There is also the impact on Caitlin Clark, who has remained notably quiet as tensions rise and attendance declines. That silence is understandable, yet it also shifts the balance of power. With public support rallying behind her, the message to the league is clear: recognize her value or face consequences. Without saying a word, she holds significant leverage, able to focus on her upcoming media role while the situation unfolds around her. For head coach Stephanie White, however, that quiet presence feels overwhelming. She needs visible leadership to steady the fan base, yet the absence of intervention raises concerns about how invested the star truly is in reversing the crisis. This has fueled a growing belief that the entire situation hinges on a no Clark, no revenue reality. Conversations with former supporters reveal a deeper frustration, not just with results but with how the league environment is perceived. Some fans feel disillusioned, believing the system has failed to protect or properly support its rising talent. Many have shifted to following her through broader platforms like NBC Universal, where they feel her presence is celebrated rather than scrutinized. What began as disappointment has evolved into a complete breakdown in trust, with longtime supporters distancing themselves emotionally and financially from the Indiana Fever. Concern now stretches beyond a single franchise. This pattern continues, it raises serious questions about stability across the league. What happens if similar reactions emerge in other major markets? Cities like Chicago, Las Vegas, or New York City could theoretically see the same shift in fan behavior. Unlike larger leagues with massive financial buffers, the WNBA depends heavily on consistent fan engagement and momentum. That momentum reverses, the entire structure becomes vulnerable. In this context, Stephanie White's growing urgency reflects something bigger than one difficult season. It signals potential cracks in the foundation. Reports suggest she is pushing for immediate solutions, demanding a clear plan to rebuild trust and bring fans back. But rebuilding that connection is far from simple. Supporters cannot be forced to return, and confidence cannot be restored overnight. Current situation appears to be the result of long-term disconnect rather than a single misstep. Now, the Indiana Fever faces a defining moment. The bond between the organization and its fan base has been deeply damaged, and repairing it will require more than short-term fixes. Trust, once broken, rarely returns to its original form. For Stephanie White, this is no longer just about coaching basketball. It's about navigating the aftermath of a fractured relationship while trying to keep the team competitive. The bigger question remains unresolved. Can the franchise recover from such a large-scale fallout, or is this the beginning of a much deeper decline? The answer will depend not only on performance but on whether the organization can reconnect with the very supporters who once fueled its identity.